So let me welcome the gentlemen of the press. And I must thank you because today is a Saturday when you should be resting. And the rest of the week had been quite busy for us, especially my party. And I was happy to have been able to attend the last BOT, caucus meeting, BOT meeting, and then the NEC meeting. And I must tell you that I was very elated because I saw the founding fathers of our party. I hadn't seen that congregation in a long time. So it shows you how important these next sets of elections are to us. And, you know, we have a saying in my part of the world that when a young man is cutting a Iroko tree in the bush, it's only the old man who will know where he will fall. So seeing all those founding fathers, those who are still alive, is an encouragement. And we are taking it very seriously. So let me welcome you. I call this the toll gates issue, Tinubu's dangerous gambit. It is rather sad and sickening in this time of grave moral challenges when the ordinary Lagosian can hardly find 3 square meals a day, when the commuters cannot afford the fare of transportation, when parents cannot afford the skyrocketing school fees for their children, when the ordinary tenants can hardly pay their annual rents. This is the unsavory time that the government of Lagos State has chosen to impose more burden on the average Lagosian. They want to bring the toll gates back. It is cruel, insensitive, vicious, and totally unacceptable. It is a misgovernance of the worst scale. This action, which is obviously sanctioned by Bola Tinubu to source for money for the moribund presidential ambition, does not portray an enlightened leadership. It does not exemplify a selfless shepherding. It does not equate an exemplary reference of salvaging the truth. It does not reflect a conscionable concern of our elected leadership. Tinubu and his cronies govern without the sobering tact and wisdom of genuine Democrats. Is Tinubu conscionable? Is he articulated in the selfless embrace? Does he care about the masses? Does he care about the electorate? Is he halted in some sincere, accommodating embrace of Lagosians? I don't think so. And yet, this is the same character parading the nation, scheming for the presidency. It will never happen by the grace of God and the power of Nigerian people. Tinubu's surrogate government in Lagos appears to reflect a distant, alienated power, locked up in selfish devices, maneuvering in mercantilist greed, resolved on a rule by enforcement without the consultative truth of democratic enlargement. It is a leadership without the kind, pacific rudder. This is hardly the kind of government we need in Nigeria now. If Tinubu's surrogate had been properly elected, if he had been a proper emanation of the people's voice, he would not turn his back on the Lagos masses. He would be more discerning and contemplative of his actions. What does this tell us? The state government does not really care about the average Lagosian. The Tinubu cabal do not really care about the Lagos masses. They are all fly-by-night allies. They seize the moment and disappear into the winds, leaving Lagosians with the baggage of their misrule. They treat Lagosians as fools enough is enough. We can see through these ephemeral characters. They merely serve the moment. They are not interested in the Lagos of tomorrow. From this moment forward, we must take our destiny in our hands. We cannot continue like this. With all our growing problems, with all our deepening challenges, Tinubu and his acolytes still insist on imposing the toll gates on us. We will say no. We say no. Otoge, Otoge, Otoge. Lagosians must wake up. Barely 2 years when they mow down innocent youths at the Lekki toll gates. When innocent youths, young men and women, shed their blood for the unity of this nation. Tinubu, through his surrogate and his illogic, has decided to bring back the toll gates. It is a bad, hasty decision at a very bad time. We, as Omo Iko Pataki, will ensure, through all legitimate, legal, and valid means, that the truth prevails, that righteousness is validated, and the majesty of light is brightened across our state. We seek no fight with anyone, but justice. We seek no quarrel with anyone, but the truth. We seek no engagement with anyone, but the accommodation of what is right and what is just. Our appeal to the greater impulse of the humankind. We do not ask for mercy, we ask for justice. We do not ask for help, we ask for justice. We do not ask for beggarly pleas, we ask for what is right. Sanwo-Olu and the cabal that put him into office, as exemplified by Bola Tinubu, have now showed greedy, avaricious intentions. The over 400 million naira they collect daily from the toll gates is more important than the well-being of our people in Lagos. And tragically enough, we do not know how this humongous amount is dispensed. It is never reflected in the Lagos state budget. It is never accounted for in the summative totality of the Lagos Treasury. This itself is a flagrant abuse of public office. The dumb idea to bring back the toll gates on that very hallowed grounds where patrons fell is tantamount to an egregious provocation. It is a combustible material, a seed of discord that will bring nobody any good. We remain non-partisan as Omo Iko Pataki. We hold adherence to no group or sectarian bias. We are free-born Lagosians who hold the heritage of our state as sacrosanct and invaluable. These are our resolutions. 1, the two toll gates should be scrapped, dismantled outright. 2, a befitting memorial should be erected in the lasting permanence about the patriots who lost their lives on October 20th, 2020. 3, the Lagos state government should pay necessary compensation to the families of the deceased. 4, October 20th, 2020 should henceforth be declared as Patriots' Day in eternal remembrance of the NSAS heroes. If all these persuasions fail, we will seek justice in the court of law. Finally, we are not afraid of a good fight. We will not stop. We will never yield. We will never rest until justice prevails upon our ancestral soil. Let me request that the electorate must not forget this toll gate issue when they go out to cast their votes in 2023. If we forget, then we would have mortgaged the future well-being of our children. May the Almighty God help us in this our struggle. Amen. First, they set up this panel. The panel went on and on and on. CNN itself got involved. They internationalized the whole thing. They submitted the report. They were vacillating. The report was genuine. It was honest. They discountenanced it, they abused even the respectable, responsible justice who was the chairperson of the committee. But what she saw, what was, and the report was genuine and honest. They wanted to discountenance it and bury it. Now, so I'm not surprised that they've been quiet for a while. And now, if you are genuinely respectable, responsible to the people's welfare, is this the appropriate time to add more burden to the people? You know, we thought they had almost kept it away and thrown it into the archives. Now that they have started, this is election year. I told you guys when we started that we're already in that channel. No turning back. It will be an election issue. And let me remind them, and let me advise the president or the chairman of INEC, the procedure of voting in the past is no longer the same now. When you press, it is electronically captured. All right? You know, no wuru-wuru there. We expect that in a very short time, after the closing of the results, within 3 hours, because we will keep monitoring them online and seeing. They should make sure it's done like it's done in the civilized world. Let the will of the people prevail. That's why in my concluding part I said, look, it will be an election matter. If you think that you have been elected to reduce the burden of the people, what is democracy? What is democratic governance all about? Shortly defined, it is the management by those people whom you have elected to manage the resources of that land for your benefit. So if you look at it from that perspective, and they are not doing that, then we have a right to say, oh, you want to start this mess? We haven't gone to sleep. We thought you've forgotten it. We will use all legitimate right, including going to court. I'm not a lawyer, but we will engage lawyers to fight these people. We will not accept it. And the people of Lagos cannot. The burden, whether you're a rich man or a poor man now, who is happy? Even if you, all those microcredits, people selling little things, the cost of diesel, how do you manage? The cost of transportation. Thank God they have driven the NUWR, whatever they call them, the union. Let them be disbanded forever. So maybe the transporters will now adjust accordingly and make sure that they take the burden out of the people. I was happy when I listened to the governor saying, yes, he will comply with the order from federal. You know, some jokers who have been collecting this free money will say, no, they are independent of this. We independent of what? But in fact, in America today, the president, because the pump price is shooting up because of this war in Ukraine, the Congress decided, and the president are looking at going to open up their reserve to cushion the cost of their price. But rather than trying to cushion the pain on the people, these jokers are thinking of increasing the burden by paying more at the toll gates. Does it make sense in an election year, even if you want to pretend? That's why we are saying that they think, oh, we have won Lagos, we've been always winning. That was through the old archaic system. Let the people turn out in millions and tell them, because the power resides in the people, that enough is enough. That is not any government responsible to cushion and to alleviate the pain of the people. Why are you in government? If you are just to serve your wife, serve your son, serve your theology and all that nonsense, and then you have the nerves. We have been shouting. This guy is still using the alpha beta, collecting humongous amount of money from our treasury. Where else is it done in the world? The EFCC has not done anything. Akpata, what is the name of his managing director, came out with a written report. Everybody is keeping quiet. Where the governor of Anambra just left, they grabbed him. Yes. So what has Tinubu been doing in Lagos that they cannot invite him to come and explain? When I said it, they say I'm political. Now the man who worked for him had exposed him. For God's sake, justice is blindfolded. That lady of justice is blindfolded with a scale and a sword. Nobody is above the law. So we will take necessary steps. We'll go to court, let them adjudicate. If we are going to fight it all the way to Supreme Court, we sure will. The federal toll gates were abolished many years ago. And this is an intrastate road. So if he built it, so damn what? What is he supposed to do with the taxpayers' money? And who, that money, I've said, doesn't go into the treasury. So who collects it? Who shares it? What do they do with it? Please.
So, sir, quickly, sir, as a follow-up to that
Yeah.
response, would I be right to say that this is a form of desperation because this is an election year and he is also contesting in this very election? Could it be as a result of being desperate? That is why he's turning deaf ears towards the Russians are calling for?
No. It's a total disregard of what is defined as democratic practice. I defined it. If you go out campaigning to the people, you are asking them, trust me, that I will go there to serve you. I will make sure I utilize the resources of that land for your benefit. Not for himself, not for Mrs. Senator, not for Yaloja, and not for the one who is the only one controlling the signage of Lagos. What is all this? Now, they increased his money recently, about 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, by 2.5 billion. The Alpha Beta money went up again by 2.5 billion. How? That 2.5 billion, even in my local government, the 0.5 billion itself will alleviate the sufferings of those young people there. Where are the jobs? Where are his factories? Where is he making the money from? We are saying here, everybody thinks, I don't hate him. We are saying facts. If you can grab Obiano a day after he left government, where wealth is this man? Look at that building there. Where did he get the money to build it? He claims he is even richer than Osun State. What does he do for a living? These are issues that are germane. Nowhere in the world would he be allowed to go on like this. We are saying it because we know these are facts. Now, like I said, we are watching. We will not call people come and riot. They can demonstrate if they want, but we will go to court to seek redress. And I hope the judiciary will be kind enough to listen to facts. Because whatever they decide, of course, the 3 steps, all the way to Supreme Court. And Nigeria will not be different. That's the legitimate course we can take. And they should be ready for it. Now, I think I've said all these advantages and disadvantages of reopening it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Look, as a retired general, my pension is 220-something naira every 30 days. Now, look at the cost of flying to Abuja now. If you decide to go to Abuja, a retired general, to and fro, 50 or 60% of your income is gone. Retired general. We serve this country meritoriously with everything God gave us to make sure that this country remains united. That's all we take. You know? And then you look at it. One man just increased his take home through the Alpha Beta, 2.5 billion recently. a month, 30 days, and you think all is well? Even if he stands at that toll gate to say, everybody, I will pay for them, they will thank him. What does he want to do with this money? What does he want to do with all this senseless acquisition? Now it's John Ketin all over Nigeria. He wants to be president of this country. President of this country. How? Are we all sleeping? Let him first of all, you know, the moment you throw yourself into the ring, it is our inalienable right to x-ray you and find out the kind of person you are before people can even accept you that you should contest. What is this? In the international community now, they look at us. Thank God we have now a new process, a new electoral process of voting. Because they tell you, you have always been winning in Lagos. Yes, indeed, you've been winning through maneuvering and mago-mago. And the MC Oluomo in Oshodi now will go and take a cool site somewhere else. Because we saw what happened in Oshodi, the last election. And I want to plead with the chairman of INEC. It is a golden opportunity that will take us from this doldrum we are back to the level where we are highly respected as a nation, not a pariah country. Where is that giant of Africa? Today they will invite Rwanda. What's the total population of Rwanda? They'll be talking about Ghana to us. And there is no corner of this country that God has not endowed with one resource or the other. Why are we killing ourselves? What for? I'm 77 going to 78. What is it that you are looking for? My great-granduncle started politics in Nigeria in 1918. And that we are following. He didn't discriminate between North and South. He was trying to unite Nigeria that we can get independence. These guys are not more educated than us. The first engineer, the first doctor, the first uncle was, he was an academic gift to this country. He was on his return to Lagos from Kano, trying to woo everybody. He developed pneumonia and he died. So we are following in his footsteps. All will be well in this country. Somebody asked me details of PDP readiness. Like I said before we started, it was a glorifying, a fresh breath when I went to that meeting. I hadn't been in Abuja for 4 years. When I got there, the NEC meeting was like a rebirth of our party in that national convention in Jos in 1999. I was happy, those who are still alive, those who are still crawling, you know, gingerly moving, everybody was there. There is hope. The PDP is back. And the discussions, the way they managed the party meetings with all the fireworks, well, of course you will expect fireworks. That's the essence of a democratic meeting. People will explain themselves, you know, from all sides, but it was in an atmosphere of friendliness. I was so happy the way it ended. We thought it was going to end up, we were on the precipice, but it is rejuvenated. The discussions were robust, they were highly enlightened, they were academic, and they gave everybody that new sense of belonging. It's a fresh breath for our country. And yes, there's no political party. We all can't sleep and face the same direction. We have different opinions, but let the majority present their cases. We will all look at it. But once a decision is taken by the party, it becomes sacrosanct. And I must tell you that I was happy I went for that meeting, because the people who are telling you and watching on TV, it's not the same. We saw the old friends. We related back to those days when those founding fathers came out to establish this party. They gave this country a gift that as long as we go in that path, no part of this country, whether majority or minority, will go home without anything. Everybody will go home. Look at the way they looked at it. How would you have thought that Chibola Ige from the Southwest will sit in the same political room with Dr. Alex Ekweme, or Dr. Alex Ekweme will sit with Papa Jim Wobodo to discuss politics? Or Alhaji Shiroma Bamanga Tuko will sit with Baba Solomon La? But they sure did. They divided Nigeria into this geopolitical zone. This geopolitical zone is not in our constitution, but for purposes of management, they divided it northwest, northeast, north central. So the majority and the minority. Southwest, southeast, south-south, the majority and the minority. And then came up with 6 geopolitical positions. The president, vice president, senate president, speaker, secretary to government, and chairman of the party. So no zone, whether you are majority or minority, will go back home to your people with 0. Remember the First Republic. The majority had their way, minority were onlookers. In the north, same in the south. Majority had their way, minority were onlookers. That created friction, perpetual friction. We were alive. That sent us all the way to the coup, then the civil war and all this. So let's remove it. That's how those Babas came about these 6 geopolitical zones and distributed these top positions. And if you look at those positions, you have now created a super synergy. The executive, the legislative, and the party. What else do you want in a democracy? And now some people are saying, hey, throw it away. You don't need it. You don't need what? That is the spinal cord of our party. And if you remove the spinal cord in a human body, it will either be crippled or is dead. We don't want this party to die. And that is the first time you have, that 1999, the first time in the history of Nigeria to have a political party that shows the colors from the southern end to the savannah regions in the north. All the others, since inception, had been always tribal parties. Action Group, NCNC, NPC. Then we came back, AMPP, and AD, and ABGA. But the PDP, I have traversed the length and breadth of Nigeria, is the only party that has it. Suddenly, the contraption called APC wanted to, they joined everybody together. They are like, and you can see it playing out now. It's a contraption, a congregation of strange bedfellows. Otherwise, to say, okay, we zone this, we zone this, we zone this. And somebody is saying, no, you are not chairman, you is chairman. And somebody say 26th of this month will be their convention. Who can guarantee the convention now? Because it's not, they don't have it. And for the first time, quickly, like, you know, when they started, they don't believe in zoning. I was laughing. To convince Nigerians now, they are the first to say, we have zoned this to this, presidency will be this chairman will be this, even to the small position in the party, all been zoned. You see? Because that is the thinking of this nation now. We will grow out of it. Democracy is not a 100-meter dash race. It is a continuum. We will keep on building. When we see mistakes that are here, we will revisit, remodel, and move forward. The future generation, but the history must not be buried. If you forget your past, you are consigned to make the same mistakes again. Now, they said Vice President Atiku is pressurizing the party. This party is a national and very dynamic party. It is not the property of any individual. Vice President Atiku has his inalienable right to contest. The party never tells you you cannot contest, because that will be fighting against your right as a Nigerian. But it is also part of the principles of our party that zoning and rotation are the kernel, the mainstay of this party. It was through that we were able to continuously manage Nigeria for 16 years uninterrupted. Uninterrupted. You know, now the mistakes have been made. They've gone back, we've gone back, we tell ourselves some home truths. That's why I said it was a gift by the founding fathers, that this will bring that semblance of oneness. And it is not novel, because if you look at Switzerland, the only country in Europe, in the heart of Europe, they had never gone to war. They don't even have a standing army. 2 world wars swept through Europe. Nothing came to Switzerland. You know why? The Germans are located in Zurich. The Italians are located in Lugano. The French are located in Geneva. It is still one indivisible nation. What do they do to keep that? They do the zoning and rotation. You can't hear any or disagreement. No. You know it is your time. You take it. You spend your 4 years. Because it's a continuum. Politics doesn't end up. It's not it's a quick dash, start and stop. No. It is a continuum. Till today, no standing army in Switzerland, and they had never been involved in any world wars. Let us continue to build on it. That sense of belonging. Turn by turn, Nigeria Limited. Very simple. So, he has a right to pick up the phone and to go and do whatever he wants to do. But it is our ground norm, one of the principles of our ground norm, that is the party constitution, states unequivocally that zoning and rotation must always be adhered to. So what do? That's what we're saying. Let the party pronounce it, that this thing is zone A. And I tell you, you know, somebody said, yes, South has ruled for 14 years, and the North has ruled for 2 years under the present dispensation. That is true. When the founding fathers sat back, nobody at that time expected that someday there could be another political party that can produce the president. You understand? So the political equation now has changed. We used to have y equals mx plus c, but you now have y equals mx plus c, and zd is a new parameter to consider that another party can produce. What do? You discountenance that parameter. You must weave it into your equation to get a proper answer. Is President Buhari from Southeast? Is President Buhari from Lagos State? So is he not a Nigerian? You see, it's a new dimension. Because in the future too, there could be a situation where it can happen in the South. So what do? You discountenance it? Let us tell the truth to power. That is the essence of this zoning committee that the party has set up. Because nobody at the time that those Babas were sitting ever envisaged. They look at the party that this is a national strength. Which party? These ones, ANPP, AD, they are all tribal parties. And now that you have it, but down the road, some party also emerged. And they have produced a president. Do we discountenance that? So these are issues we will sit passionately, without rancor. Let's tell ourselves the truth. I had thought severally, and I got it also from the Holy Book. There are 4 pillars that the Almighty God has given to us through His Word. If we adhere to those 4 pillars, you can't go wrong. What are these pillars? Number 1, justice. Number 2, holiness. The fear of God, the beginning of wisdom. Number 3, the truth. Tell the truth to power. And the last one is fairness. The whole country is in a quagmire. We need a leader that would appreciate that and rise above the pedestrian level of selfish attitude. Now you and your child and your son and Abba, what is this? Now you alone day, to quote my former first lady. Now you alone day? No, there are others. There are others. Give everybody that opportunity, that education. Because education makes people easy to rule but difficult to enslave. Let's try that. Let's move this country forward. Look at the carnage ravaging the north today. Unbelievable. Because you have a lot of their young minds that are educated, no future, no job, no income, nothing. Somebody said, Bode George. So like I said about the former vice president, Atiku, he has a right to pick up whatever he wants to pick, but the party has the legitimate right to decide this goes A or B. Then Tinubu versus Bode George, what has it got to do with the price of milk? I said to you that if I want to relocate, now, by that time, 78 going to 79, if we had been shouting, and I am happy the president has signed the new electoral bill, if by whatever chance he gets to the villa, I won't be part of this country. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I can go to Ghana, live in Ghana, and be watching you with a binocular from afar. You will see what will happen. Say this is Alpha Beta in Lagos. He will create some altar beta somewhere to carry your money and carry the thing. His wife will now be Senate president. His son will be governor of Lagos. His daughter will be Yoloja of Nigeria. Abba. What has he done to prove that he deserves to be honored by anybody in this country? He goes around there. How? Nothing personal. In fact, my niece called me, Deola Macaulay. He said, Mommy, some of their people are spinning that, he gives me money. That Bola gives me money. Let him bring the money. I will tell him to follow me to Lagos Island. People who are hungry are there. I grew up there. In Lagos Island. I went to that popular school, St. John's School at Oloya. Played the local football there. I grew up there, not in Ikoyi here. But we thank God today we were educated. My father was a civil servant in the Ministry of Defense till he retired. My mother was a nurse in the island maternity. They sent me to school. And they thought the rascality of Lagos was so much. So they shipped me to Ijebode Grammar School. And even if I come back again, I'll go back to Ijebode Grammar School. Because that was where ethics, the fear of God, what you expect you to be, to live up to be. Money is not everything. It is your character that counts. Because the day you pack up, and you never know, when the angel comes, say it's time out. Don't tell him, give me 2 minutes. No. You are gone. Remember Alexander the Great, that great general that ravaged the whole world, made so much money, made so much asset. In the end, on his way back home, he fell ill. He called for his doctors. He said, I am likely to die. But make sure that coffin, you put my hands out. Because he started doling out all the assets he has acquired. And said they should leave his hands outside the coffin so that people will see that he's going home with zero. Isn't that enough lesson? If he hasn't been to school, let him go and read history. The richest man in Kuwait, the same thing. Had gold-plated aircraft, gold-plated vehicles, gold-plated bed, gold-plated gold bars. When he died, they showed us the little place where he was buried. End of story. So let them have that honor and the fear of the Almighty God to redistribute this stolen money back to the people, to educate them, to have a first-class health program in this country. Good roads, good life for everybody. Guarantee 3 meals. And those children in primary school, when we were there, let justice flow like a river. And truth like an ocean that will never go dry. If we cannot manage ourselves at that small level, how can we tell Nigerians? We are not saying support Bode George. I'm just an individual. I will go. And I've told them my retirement time is next year, after all this wahala. And if he comes earlier, so be it. I put in 20-something odd years. I spent 20-something years, 24 years, about 25 years in the military. And I looked at another 25 years in the politics. 50 years of my life, my children are calling for me to get out. So that they are old enough now, they are 40s and this, to say, okay, you too, continue from where great-granduncle started. I've played my part. But let us be bold enough to tell the truth to power. Otherwise, I had never imagined our nation would be in this quagmire. We are in a straitjacket. Who is happy? Whether you have millions or you have zero. You go out, are you safe? You want to buy fuel. Even if you are the Dangotes of this world, when they bring the bill of your fuel consumption, there is collapse. We were told that the grid, national grid, has collapsed. You know what that means? You are burning diesel. The mama who is frying akara will pay her price for it. The one who is doing little job will pay a price for it. If you cannot have light, security light in your house in the night, can you sleep well? What is the landing cost of the diesel? What is the pump price of the diesel? These are serious issues. This is an election year. What is going on? I'm happy your guy is back. It's a challenge to him. Yes, he's my Oga. But then, as a general too, we tell them, this is our observation. We want to live well for the rest of our life. We are all in the departure lounge. We have gotten our boarding pass. It's only when they will call the flight, nobody knows. So don't fool yourselves. The Lagos Congress was shambolic, to say the least. If the party wants to be just and fair, I wish them the best of luck. Don't just rush it, because there are 2 states in this country that are very electorally important: Lagos and Kano. They have added 5,000 extra polling stations in Lagos now. What does that portend? It means Berekete, the votes. Kano, 3,000 extra polling stations. You want to toy with Lagos? And make wuru-wuru so that some yeye person will emerge as Gandhi.